Well, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking a little bit about ZenWorks Service Desk. This is ZENcast Live. Let's move on to our primary screen here. We are going to be discussing ZenWorks version 24.2 branding and customizing. Of course, this goes back. Each version we can add a little bit more, and depending on the TID, you can find different ways to customize your portals. But also we're going to talk a little bit about ZenWorks version 24.2, the upgrade and what's new. We want to double check and show you how easy it is to upgrade and also the new features in it. You may be asking, what's ZenCast Live? Well, it's for ZenWorks admins, ZenWorks community, or just about anybody, even if you don't have ZenWorks, that's interested in ZenWorks products. We meet the first and third Tuesday at 9 o'clock Mountain Time every other week, each month. So we have different topics each month, each session, each ZenCast Live. The details and recordings can all be found out on the Microfocus Support and Training website, out on YouTube, and you can also type in its open text support and training. Okay, you can go out there and you can see we're live now. You can also see all the different products. Here are the ZenCasts, all the ZenCasts. If they pertain to ZenWorks, it'll also fall into ZenWorks or Service Desk, Microfocus Connect, or hybrid workspaces. So that is available to you, so feel free to go out there and see past recordings. Also, I'm going to put in the chat the today's presentation, so you have the links available to you. You can follow along, or if you're watching the recording, you can download this from the site. Go ahead and select this, and you can see that in the chat. Okay, a little bit of house cleaning. If you can, log into YouTube. You can chat live with us, ask questions, even if they're off topic. We'll try and answer those questions for you. Okay. And then subscribe and notifications. You'll get subscriptions and notifications, and provide feedback and comments if you're watching the recordings. Okay, I got a little bit of a issue with this. Let's do this. There we go. A little bit off. Okay, and the best viewing is Auto 720p 60. And again, if you're watching the recording, the descriptions, they're posted in the video. The links to the PDF, as well as any references and links, are in the description of the posted video. Okay. Now we come to the section of tidbits and crumbs. I just want to tell you there's been a lot of TIDs released. Okay. Most of these that are listed here are new. They may pertain to you, they may not, but I try to list the recent ones so that you can get an idea of what's going on and how you might be able to be impacted, or how you can resolve some issues just by opening up those TIDs. So there's things for ZPM, ZSD, ZCM, and ZRS. Now I will say the customization cookbook, it didn't select it. The customization cookbook itself, there's another 15 to 20 new TIDs out here. So be aware that I didn't list them all here because there are just so many of them. We got a lot of new TIDs on system configuration, or branding, or utilities and scenarios. So we really got a few of these out in the last month, and want to make sure that you're aware of that particular enhancement in this particular TID. Okay, so there's a lot more out there. Some of the crubs, there's monthly webinars, and you can see what those are here. You can see what we've done. You have links to them, so you can check out the recordings and check those out. There's there's blogs out here. There's partner training also that's coming up. There's a blog on the partner training. So if you're interested in some training on ZCM. These are coming. Partners are starting to teach these, both virtual and personal. And these are we're developing these with the partners and really moving ahead with these. So if you're interested, check those out. They have both German and English for these particular training materials. Okay, and we have more and more partners diving in on this. So that's a great news for the training on the product. OpenText World was last week or a couple weeks ago, and if you wanted to see the keynotes or those types of things, you can easily go out here and check out those on-demand things to review. Also, a couple reminders. ZSD standard support ended September 30th for version 8.3x. So if you're on 8.3x or lower, try to move up to the 23 or 24, and we'll be showing you the upgrade today on 24.1 or 24.2. Also, the ZCM 2020 U3 lifecycle ended January. Okay, so if you're on update 3, try to move off of that and get full support. If you need help with any of those upgrades, please call us and we'll help you out. There are videos and technical documents, but you know, we want to make sure you get there as soon as possible. Also, the ZPM old patch feed ending end of month. All right, if you're on the old patch feed, make sure you upgrade to the advanced patch feed. We had a ZENcast on it. There's some videos out there under the documentation on how to get there, what you need to do, how to transfer and migrate stuff over. Because May 31st is the last day you'll be able to have patches on the old feed. We're transferring over to the new feed. Okay. And there's a blog out there as well. And then the ZCM Windows Primary Server end of life. The last version that's supporting a Windows Primary Server is version 23.4, and that's supported through November 2026. So it gives you time to migrate off to an appliance, to a Linux box, whatever. But you won't be able to go to the next version, 24.1 or 24.2, before you have all the Windows primaries out of your zone. Okay. All right. Let's do a little recap. Last time we talked a little bit about getting work done with ZenWorks products, and we had references, webinars, ZENcasts. We talked about training. We talked about the forums and documentation. I do want to mention that if you go over to our products here in the community page, let's go to, yeah. If you notice, each page has this here. And this is a great resource that kind of just off to the side, not really making its presence too known, but it's available to you. So be aware that all of these are here. If you need to get to SLD, if you need to get to free trial or support or knowledge base, the links are directly on each one of these pages. So as we go through ZCM, you'll see it again over here. All right. So we talked a little bit about that last time and gave some more information on different documentation and so forth. So we hope that's useful to you and you found some of that information advantageous for making sure your zone is all set up. Okay. Today's agenda. We're going to be doing ZSD customizations, but we're also going to be doing ZSD version 24.2 since it was just released a couple weeks ago. All right. We're going to talk about not only the video, the upgrade and the features in 24.2, but also customizing and branding. Okay. And there's a couple of links in here to some pages that we'll go through. But let's first dive into our upgrade so that we can kick that off and get that going and then come back to it and see it upgrade. But the upgrade basically is an appliance upgrade. It's an in-place upgrade, which means you go through your online updates to get your upgrade. Okay. Let me go back here. Okay, let's go on in. So online updates, you notice the exclamation point. That means we have something in there. It could be service patches. It could be an upgrade. We're going to go ahead and select it. I've done all the service patches, but they would be in the list also if they hadn't been installed yet. But you can see this is a service desk release 24.2, and it's going to require a reboot. Okay. It is interactive, which means you have to click on a couple of acknowledgments. We're going to go ahead and update now. All right. It's going to prompt you. Okay, install all the needed patches. Actually, let's go out real quick, and you can see we're at 24.1. Okay. Let's try that again. We'll go ahead and do update now. And it'll say, by the way, you'll need a reboot for one or more of the features to take effect. And it's going to start the progress of installing those. Now, you will need downtime for this. It doesn't take too long. It probably takes, I would have 30 minutes downtime, which is more than enough time for you to be able to do this upgrade. So go ahead and do that. In the meantime, we're going to look at some of the features that are in it. Okay. So this one, we can see here, if we go to setup, let me get this bigger for you, and we'll go to setup licenses. We can see we're at 24.2 already. Okay. One of the first things is the privileges. Now, there's parent and child privileges to some of these, which means you have to have one enabled before you see the other one. Okay. So if I go to, where are we? For instance here, customer CMS RFC. If I wanted to double check on the email Amy and I wouldn't know where it was prior to this. Okay. I'd have to research it, find my documentation, and go, oh, I have to enable this one in order to enable this one. And it's going fairly slow. Hang on a second. Let me go over to my other system. Setup. We'll go to setup. Privileges. Okay, so notice that with view all requests, no, which is the default, you can't get to restricted to team, add notes to any requests, add attachment to any requests, and so forth, right? Now, these were hidden before until this was enabled. We decided that we've got input from you guys that it's painful trying to find those particular features. Because if you go over to your help and you see the table, for instance, if we go to view all requests and we go to help, and help is great because it goes directly to the page that you're looking at. But if I'm looking for, view all requests and then being able to restrict a team, I need to make sure this is turned on before I can get to this feature. So we made all of these visible. Let's go to setup privileges. So we made these all visible now, so you can see them. And the nice thing is if you didn't know, we do a hover over on here, and it'll tell you this field is enabled when view all requests is set to yes. So we're starting to help you along here, being able to find those a little bit quicker. And yes, this was very frustrating. Even me as an administrator, it was very frustrating trying to remember where all these features were and what had to be turned on before I could use that feature. And that's across the board. Okay, so the privileges revealing all the hidden or child features or options is now available, and then we have hover over so that you can kind of get an idea what you need to set for those particular settings. Okay, so that should be fairly helpful there. All right, that's in the setup. And then what we're going to do is we also did some things on the let's go to user on the technician portal, and let me go a little bit smaller so we have a little more easier read on this. If we go to, and let me go a little smaller, let's go full screen. Okay, then I can go big enough and you can see. The other thing we did was the request groups elements. You now have the bulk. The bulk is back. All right, and I say that because back in 8.3, no, back earlier than that, back in 7.5, they had the bulk, but with our new coding and modernization, it slipped through the cracks. And so we brought it back so that you could do bulk changes. Notice this one is closed resolve, this one is open. Maybe we want to change them all. And once we hit bulk, we then can change all of these selected requests to have the similar properties. All right. We're going to say, oh, this is now low, very low. We don't need to worry about this anymore. Yes, one of them's closed. I know that, but we can change that to close resolved, and then escalation layer if we needed to. You could do your customer CCs. You could change other classifications that might need to be changed. All right, so if we change this to maybe downloads, you can then also add things down in the notes. This is closed, resolved, and monitoring for issues. Okay, so we're going to keep monitoring. Again, you can have attachments, you can have notes. I'm going to go over to notes. I'll do a new note. Monitoring this issue. Okay, and of course you could do your attachments or your link, hyperlinks, all those things. We're going to save that note. And I don't know if you noticed that. I went pretty quick. The note, let me cancel that. If we notice at the bottom of the note, you can also do your private and public visibility and your CCs to customers and so forth. All right, so we have notes, we have a description about what's going on with this particular group, and we're going to hit save. Okay, so they're both closed and resolved now. They're both set to low. The classifications isn't listed across here, but classifications would be changed to on both of them. And so if we were to go and look at one of these, we can also see in the audit log that there's a new note added, right? So it comes on down to the local device. 0 minutes, close resolved. Oops. New note added. There it is, monitoring this issue. So that's the note. Impact change. So you can see everything that we changed that's of significance has been recorded here so that we have audit trail of what's going on with this particular problem as well as this device. Okay, and then again, if you hit the PDF, you can also see it in this fashion here, chronological order. Okay, so that's really, really helpful. And so the being able to modify, you get 5 people calling in because they have network connectivity issues or printer issues, and now you need to resolve that. You go out to 1, you realize what it is, it's actually the printer. You can now close them all or add notes to all of them to take care of them. Okay. The second thing that is about groups is, you notice we have groups here, right? And these are all tagged in a group. But if we go into one of them, you can now get to the group from here. Okay, so if you select this, you can go to group, and they're part of this group, and you can then start managing this. One note is I noticed the bulk didn't show up here. So we have that in as a defect. Wasn't quite, should have been in there. So we're going to fix that. But if you go to operations, you can then go to incident groups and go there, and bulk is back. So it's just a coding issue there. So you can still get to it if you get to operations, but Just wanted to forewarn you that that was an issue with the coding there. Okay. So the bulk requests, being able to reveal all privileges, getting that link to be able to link to the group, go directly to the group. The other thing, as you know, we've been going through the modernization and we've done outages. Now we did manufacturers. It no longer looks like this format. It's this format. So you also have, if it's selected, you have your delete over to the right. You have your selection, multiple selections here. If you're looking for M, you can then obviously sort between either way. You have your sort on your columns and so forth. If you go into them, again, the new format. Okay, you can edit this, make changes, and save. Okay, or delete. All right. So we're still working on that. The next one will be vendors, and we're slowly moving across. So we have the same look and feel across the board. All right. Any questions, please shout them out. Happy to discuss those. Another new, well, not new thing. If we go to setup, single sign-on. This has been revamped to the point where it works with Shibboleth and SAML too. So if we go to help, it should bring me to the documentation. Let's look. Okay, overview of SAML-based SSO configurations. So if you're running Shibboleth or something like that, we have the documentation. We have a customer that was out there that asked about moving from join proxy over to the SSO, and that seems to be working good for them. They just went through the different the details on this particular document. So that's available now for single sign-on and configurations with those SAML-based products. Okay. Those are the small things that we've done inside this last quarter revision. And if we go back over to our, this is our machine we are updating. We can see it's now closed. If I go close here, it's going to show me reboot needed, right? So we're going to go ahead and do a reboot needed. Notice it shows 24.2, but it has to reboot before it actually take effect. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And let's take a look at that device while we're here. We can watch it reboot. Okay, yep, there it goes. Starting to stop the jobs. It'll just take a second, so we'll hang out here for a minute. You can also, and I'll show you this today, you can customize this console screen. You may say, well, why are you doing that? Well, if you have a lab or some of the other things like your IP changes on this particular lab, this is a static page. This static page actually is created on the first install and doesn't get modified unless you manually modify it. So I'll show you some details on that. Actually, I have a couple here. So here's one. You can see ZSD 87 test lab, right? And then if we go to this guy, we can see, and I can put notes in here. It's connected to particular other ZCM labs, so I have integration turned on. It kind of reminds me as I'm on this machine. And we'll modify this one as well. So, and show you how to do that. And that's one of the TIDs that's in ZSD right now, is being able to modify that. Okay, we're almost up. We're going to go close here, let it wait to cycle. We're over here. Okay, that was a live upgrade. So it's a great upgrade. It's fairly small, but it does have to do some database stuff. If the in places are nice because you have very little to to worry about on the in place. Now, if we go back over to our, which one was it? This one, I think. This one. Let's go again. Give it a second for all the services to start. I'll do that too. There we go. It's getting ready. Okay. We're good there. There it is. So let's go ahead and log in. Oh. Now we can see, yes, we are at 24.2. The online update doesn't show any more online updates. If we go to it, and if we go to the technician portal, this will occur the first time going to any portal after an upgrade, right? It has to finish the database schema upgrade. So it upgrades the code, then it upgrades the schema, and once this is complete, you're good to go. And this will just take a minute. It's going through different details on the 24.2 upgrade here. There we go, successfully upgraded to version 24.2. All right, so then you can hit close, and you can now log in, and everything's working for 24.2. And the version's been upgraded. All right. Again, this will occur the very first time after an upgrade. So be aware that that will occur once somebody hits close. Now, sometimes it'll be at upgrade successfully before you even get there, depending on what's going on. But you can see how quickly this particular upgrade is. So getting from 24.1 to 24.2 is very easy. You must be on 24.1 to get to 24.2 because you're on the 24 channel. All right. Now we can go ahead and log in. And get to, if we went to setup, and we went to setup, licenses, we can see it's 24.2. Okay. So that's the upgrade. We covered a few of the features that we had in it. Now we're going to go through some customizing. You can see this is pretty bland. It's pretty generic. You saw on my other one how I have different colors up here. These colors are all from changing the CSS. Okay. Currently, you have to edit the CSS, so it's very important that when you go to, let's go to here. Yeah, that's the technician. When you go to setup and setup, customize. Okay. Now, these have a default. You can reset back to default if you want, but you will not be able to go back to where you were without pasting it back in. All right, and editing it again. So you want to make a copy of anything if you've done any modifications within here. Okay. The other thing is what I like to do is I like to put the details of the TID in the CSS line. You know, this is just a comment line, the /* ending with a /* or //. So that's just a comment line. I like to put it in so I know where I got it from, which TID I got it from. Okay. As we do that, so you can see I did a comment line for this one for removing survey card from customer portal home. So if we look here, actually let's go to the customization cookbook. ZENworks Service Desk Customization Cookbook. Or you could search for TIDs. I just go here. it'll bring up all the TIDs for customizing and scenarios and configurations and so forth. So we could then go to branding, and we could see all the different ways to brand depending on what we want to do. All right. Customizing the menu top bar. And we try to put in pictures so you can see the differences of what's going on and what we refer to. Top menu bar, search border, search text, quick cards, and dashlets, right? And then if you wanted, for instance, the default tabs, or these are the default tabs, if you wanted the store to be disabled, then you go through this particular sequence and store will be missing from the top bar. All right. So you can really customize what you want. Requests is missing. Maybe you just do service requests, or maybe you just do self-help knowledge base. We have customers out there that use service desk for the knowledge base. Okay. And that's another thing. If you're working with ZCM and you just need a knowledge base, you can use this because you have 2 licensed tickets for service desk. You have 2 licenses. So you can create your self-help and have all your knowledge base tickets in there. Okay. And you know, some of these just have a sequence of selections for options, off, view, edit, so forth. But others have where you have to actually cut and paste. Okay. But it shows you each one of these and how to go through that. Okay. If you want text color change, you can. So let's go ahead, and one of them I was going to do was remove the survey. Nope. Is this it? Where's my remove survey? Let's go back to here. Let's go Control F survey. There it is. Remove from the customer portal's dashlet, the survey dashlet. And what we're referring to is if we go to the customer portal, which is here. Oh, no, it's here. And we go to home. We may not want surveys to be shown here at all. So we can go ahead and edit that out. Let's go over to here. We're going to go back into customize. And that was a customer portal. So we're going to go to portal CSS, right? We're going to go to the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the TID, take these things here, all right, and it tells you to hide the dashlet, insert the following CSS code at the bottom of the customer portal CSS page. So again, what I would do is I would go down to the bottom, Control V, okay. The other thing I would do would be adding the TID in, commenting right above it, for removing the survey. Oh yeah, I remmed that out actually, so I didn't even have to do that. But that's how I do that for removing survey card. Okay, from the portal home. And what I'll do is I'll put in, because we made a TID out of it. We asked development because you guys asked, and so this is the question to them, but we're going to do that. So now we know how to retrieve that again. If we hit OK, just like that, we hit save. Now if we go back to 87 and we do the customer, now we see it here, we haven't refreshed yet. Let's go ahead and refresh. Control F5. And we can see now it's missing. And remember, these can be moved around. Okay? So if you want them in a certain order, those can be moved around. If you want to get them back to how they were, it has a default. Okay? So if I did quick calls over here, and then if you can always, and you hit save. Now the next time this customer logs in, this is the format it'll be in. Okay. Now he doesn't have control over the survey, right? That's what you as an administrator have. And then if you want to set it back, you can always set it back by hitting reset. All right, the customer can do that. Okay, so that's a configuration that you could do, changing out some of those cards. The other thing we've had some question on is, can we change this text, right? Now, one thing the recent question was, can we do the labels? We can't do the labels, but we can actually do the text within it. All right. So if you have a different language, or if you have certain things you want to spell out, you can. So this would be new request. You can also, when you go to new request, notice you have incident and service request. You can change, you can edit this as well. So let's go ahead and do a couple of those. We're going to go over to our portals. So we're in the customer portal, and we have the home page store legend. It says click here to browse through store items. So click here to browse through digital airlines store items. So if we hit save, and if you notice, there's also a restore default here. All right. So if you do need to go back, so now that we've saved that, again, you don't need to restart. Control F5. So you can see digital airlines is in here. Okay. So you can modify these as well. Now, if, as I mentioned, you might want to differentiate between incident and service request. Obviously, incident is break fix. This is request for service, right? So if you wanted to spell it out differently for your community that you're working with, you can go to incident legend, and you could say, this is break fix. I'll just do that for showing. And then if we do a control F5, this is break fix. See that? I'm going to go back over here real quick just so I have it. It was about to time out. Okay. You can also remove these from, if you just have where you want them to be able to create from a quick call. We have customers that do that. You can remove these as well. All right. So remove new request dashlets. I'll go ahead and highlight this. Okay. And we'll do that. We'll go back over here, and we just add it to the bottom again. All right. And I like to do no spaces. And we'll hit save. And now the other thing is, remember what I was talking about. We'll do this, copy this, and we'll put in for removing new requests. What do we call it? Remove new requests. Which one was it? Is this one? What's it called? Dashlets. So it is dashlets. Dashlets from customer portal. And we can put in the TID. I just like to do that because then I have some type of, where did I get that from? And you don't have to research it again because you've already done that. We're going to go ahead and hit save. Now if we go back over here and we go to the customer portal and we do control F5, now all they can do is quick calls. Okay. Helps because then you don't have the confusion. Is it a break fix? Is it a service request? Is, I'm out of toner, but is that a service request because I need more toner? Or is it I can't print because it's down? You can just have your quick calls in here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and rem that back out. So I'm going to go and take this and do, and that should put it back. At least I'll store it there, and Control F5, and you can see it's back. All right. Again, a lot of configurations that you can do. The one thing I talked to you about a little bit ago was editing your appliance. So if we were to, where's my mouse? My mouse is there. Let's log in. And if we do a cat Etsy issue, this is basically what you're looking at on the screen. It's a static file named issue under Etsy. So if you were to do an edit, Etsy issue, you could then go here. We'll do some changes here. This is 201 lab for ZENcast, and then we'll go and if you have a lot of different appliances, this kind of helps. So we're going to hit escape, right quit, and now if we do an exit, we could see it's there. Now I'm ready to log in. Okay, and this is any appliance pretty much. I've tested it on ZRS, ZCM. I didn't test it. I think it's the same on Filer and iPrint, but also ZSD. Okay, so that's helpful, I hope. Next we are going to go, there were a couple other things I wanted to do. We're going to look at our banners, and these are pretty self-explanatory. They give you the size that you need. They give you if you're custom or not, right? So if I were to uncheck this and hit save, and I hit Control F5, it might be cached. These might be cached. But if I were to log in a different browser. The nice thing about these is to use custom. If you uncheck it and check it, you can go back and forth between them. It doesn't lose this. So if we were to go here and we were to go to default, right? Now it's given the default. Notice those are missing. So I saved the default. Now I have no way of going back without restoring that file or that text. Now I did save it, so I do have it. But you can see the consequences here. If we go back over to customer, Control F5. Oh, wait a minute. Control F5. Oh, I did the customer portal, didn't I? Let's go over to user portal, CSS, and we'll hit default, hit save, Control F5, resend. Notice all the colors changed. So anything changed in the CSS is now changed back. Okay. Okay. The other thing, so we talked a little bit about the banners and how they're very specific. If you need to find a particular color, for instance, so let's say we want to go and the background color of the submenu bar, which is this gray right here. Right now it's EC, 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 so this is the hex value of the color. I have, you could pick any one of them. There's plenty of them out there as far as palette. Let's go open copy link. Let's go out here. And so this is just one of many that are out there. And if we wanted to make it, let's say, what do you think? Probably, let's go, we're already gray, so let's go blue. So if we went to 7B AFD4, so let's go back over here. And if we went to, because we have to brand it for our company's colors, and we hit save, right? And this is the background color of the submenu, which is this guy. We're going to change that to a blue as well. Notice it changes right away. All right. So you can do the hex code. Sometimes they have the RGB code, but typically see, here's the RGB codes. You could put in either one. All right, so I was playing around with the CSSs and getting those right. The other thing I like to do is if I'm not quite certain, background color for the profile drop down, you can change. But if you're not quite certain, I just add things in here as this was changed, just as a note. I put notes in here all over the place just so it reminds me, because sometimes these aren't quite as clear. Especially when you get to the menus, which nav bar menu. Okay, so that's how I deal with those. We did portals, and you notice that the portals, we have the change. We did the incident legend. We have the login legend as well. Notice we put a URL. So there's legal statements. So if we're going to go to the customer portal login, right? And if we go to customer, we can see, if you're already logged in, it knows that. So you can have your legal statement. Maybe you have a web page for your legal statement. They can click on that, or anybody coming in accepts this, or whatever your wording is per your security policy, you can do that. So you have the login legend there, and you also have the login, logout over here. Notice there's a few more because there's different details between the two, between the customer and between the technician. So here's a welcome. You can see we modified that. One thing I almost forgot. Notice don't forget about the insert parameters. Okay, the insert parameters are really helpful if they're existing on there, because I think the customer portal I saw one where, let's see, no, not yet. Forget which one I saw, but it was quite extensive. Okay, but if it has that insert parameter, all services, I'm not finding it. Log in. That one won't have it. I knew that. But this is, when you have a lab, this works real well too, because I just put in my certain users that I use when I'm doing my testing. And you can see I'm using GroupWise on my 36 server. This is administrator, supervisor, customer. I just put my little codes in there for what I need to see when I'm logging in. And, oh, I'm on the wrong one, because I have quite a few of them. So it's helpful there. So just a few things there. If we go back to the banners, and we wanted to change, for instance, this guy, we could then go to, my J has all my logos, products, logos. What I'll do is typically, notice there's one that I'll download, or the officially approved for the system in this company, and then I'll adjust it. Okay, so for instance, if I'm going to copy this, Control C, if we go to an image changer, if I try to select this one and put it in and upload, it'll say it should say it's too big. Oh, it saved it, unless that one was 56 by 56. Let's try and pick another one. Upload. Sorry, browse. Let's pick one. Change request. Upload. Yeah, see, no file selected. It's not allowing me to upload it. So, for instance, on this one, I did change request. Let's go over to copy. Let's cancel this. Let's go to another. You may have to change the image. So we're going to select the image. We'll go back down to logos. Is this one? Open. And then if you want to change the settings, it's obviously put it in now. Then we can modify the image. Where did it go? Did I already? I didn't apply. I didn't think I applied. Change request. Did I hit something too soon? There it is. I did this one before. I don't, oh, maybe that's why. This particular editor, why is this happening? Let me delete. Drop an image here. But you get the idea. We're just resizing it to 5656. That should be uploaded. Now we should be able to modify, bulk resize, image resizer. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to unlock the aspect ratio. We're going to go 120 or 56 to 56. Change color if you want to, resize image. Then you can download image. And if we select this one that's now in downloads, we can then go browse, downloads, change request, open, upload. Nope. Upload. Oh, PNG images. And that also has PNG on it if we wanted to. So you get the idea. You'll go ahead and modify if you wanted to edit this and you wanted to do a PNG. Don't know where the setting is. There we go. Okay. Then we'll do unlock 56, 56, and resize. Okay. And once it's done, you could download the image. We could then upload. Browse. Change request PNG. Open. Upload. All right, so now the application header will have that. Okay, and that's under the user portal. Control F5. Resend. There it is there. Okay, so those are just some ways of branding. We did the upgrade. We looked at features. I hope that's helpful. We're coming close to the end of our time here. So you can see how we've done all sorts of things. And the big takeaway, if you're branding, ZSD Customization Cookbook, this is a composite of all of your questions asking the development on how to do certain things or scenarios. And we have one TID you could go to, and you could just go through and see, how do you brand? How do you do certain scenarios? What's some troubleshooting tips that I can have, as well as getting to the upgrades. Okay, so be aware that this particular TID is very useful. and is a single point for you to grab what possibly you need to configure for your environment. All right, let's see. We covered that. In this particular, I put it in the chat. In this particular slide deck is the install demo and the feature demo as well. Again, don't forget about the question mark in the help. It'll take you right to the documentation as we showed you. The next on the schedule is hybrid workspaces use cases. Why would I use hybrid workspaces? So just some ways to use hybrid workspaces and why would you do that? Again, you have some registered monthly live casts, which are Filer, GroupWise, ZenWorks, OES, and iPrint. Okay. And the schedule again that's out there. Again, on this schedule down below is all our recordings. Okay. From the newest at the top to the oldest. Okay. Makes it easy to search. Here are the versions, 23.4, ZSD 24.2. There's links in all of these in case you need to. Hybrid Workspaces 23.11 and ZRS 8.1.2. UEM futures, there's a few futures of what's coming. Hopefully, as we get these developed, we'll be releasing them in those particular time frames. And then you have your lookbooks. And your lookbooks are very handy as well. They have a compilation of details for customers. 24, this one's going to be updated. It shows 24.1. We just released 24.2, so we're going to get this updated. We're waiting for it to be published, but it has other details in here as well. How to upgrade, a comparison chart for all the versioning. So which features came in when. We have team and collaboration, UEM community, and ZenWorks community webinars. So these are the past webinars we talked about a little bit earlier. Events and recordings. Again, there's get on the ZenWorks webinar schedule. There's partner training coming up. There's links in here as I showed you, and some old past recorded slides. The next topic for the ZENcast again is May 21st, hybrid workspaces, and how you would use hybrid workspaces. And I appreciate everybody being here. I hope this is helpful for you if you're configuring ZSD, and I hope that you'll be able to utilize these. If you have any questions, please email zen@opentext.com. Happy to answer any questions you have. If you have some scenarios or some things you want to customize and you don't see it on there, please let us know. We're happy to put it there. So we hope everybody, let's go here. Appreciate everybody being here, and thank you again for your attention. And please give some likes or ratings on this particular one and any comments. Make sure we're hitting the mark when we're sending these ZENcasts out. All right? Otherwise, have a great week, and we'll be talking with you soon. See you in a couple weeks.